Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is your data buddy Kingsley, and today we will build this dashboard from start to finish. And in doing so, we are going to learn all the fundamentals of building a data analytics dashboard. You are going to learn how to ingest data, and we are working with 5 different tables. And the link to the data set will be in the description for you to work along with me. We're going to bring them into Power Query, do the next step, which is transforming them, understanding the data set and transforming them. Now, after transforming them, we'll load it into Power BI and go on to connect this data. That is what you know as multi-dimensional modeling. And now after that, we're going to go into a little basis of DAX functions, where we're going to do calculated measures and calculated columns. And after doing all those, we will start building our dashboard all in Power BI. So you're going to learn how to quickly build your first dashboard in Power BI in today's video. And I'm going to encourage you to stick around so that you'll be able to understand all the fundamentals from data injection to data cleaning, preparation based on your business rules, all down to data modeling, so that you'll be able to know how to connect different tables together to be able to allow your data to communicate effectively. And this is going to be a continuous series because I will be building other dashboards from other business intelligence tools and sheets. So it is important to subscribe to this channel and also click the bell icon so that you will be the first to know if you want to really follow up in this our journey of analytics and AI. All right, let's hop into my computer and I will show you how we do it. All right. Before you start building out your dashboard, it's important to know that you must have gathered your requirement right. So requirement gathering is like the first stage you need to pass through when you are trying to build out a data solution like dashboard. I've already gathered all the things I need for this dashboard, and I am going to one at a time state them out as I build them out. Before we start ingesting data, it's important that we know the type of data we are working with. I am today working with a supply chain data, and this data has 5 data sets, and I have like the transaction data, and then the other are the dimension data. The transaction data is my facts table, and the others are my dimension tables, and they are the country, payment method, product, and shipping method or shipping mode. Good, let's go and get this data. And when you look at this, you notice that this is a comma separated value. And now let's go and get them. So to get this data, we go in. Of course, you know, when you open your Power BI, this is the interface you see. I like just going back to the blank page and start working from there. So I will go to get data, and because I want a CSV, I'll come to text/CSV to get the data, and it brings me directly to the folder where this data is. And of course, yours might not take you directly to where the data is. For you, you will need to look for it. So I'll take first my transaction data, which is my facts table. And now what really happens is, when you get your data, this window will pop up asking you to load or to transform or even to cancel. Now, the standard method is to go to transform data, because normally your data will likely come unclean, unprepared, or really messy. So it's important you go to transform data so as to start preparing your data. And this is the overview based on 200 rows of my data, and you can see it's a comma separated value. So let's click on transform, and this will open our Power Query window, or we call it query editor, showing me all the data, all the columns in my data set. And good, to just look at it, you see we have dates, transaction, then all the foreign keys like in product ID, country ID, payment method ID, and shipment mode ID. Then we have the quantity, unit price, and total unit price. And this total price it's the same thing as our sales data or revenue column. So before I do any transformation there, let's quickly go and get our dimensional data. Good. So I don't need to, or I don't have to go back to Power BI to get the other data anymore. Because I am in Power Query, it gives us the ability to access those data the way we would have accessed it directly from Power BI, and that is from new data, new sources. I'll go to test and CSV, click it again, and it will open up data. So this window has the data. I'll start with the country, bring it on, and of course, you see I've got like 5 countries. So I'll click OK. Now it did not show me the transform again because we are already getting this data from Power Query. It doesn't need to say transform, it just needs to say OK because it's going to still be on the Power Query. All right, so we move on and get the orders quickly. Payment method, good. All right, the next one is the product. Go again and get the shipping mode, and that will be all for all the tables. And you notice we have 5 different tables. Now, let's start our transformation from the transaction table, which is the main table anyway. So now when you look at this, first thing we need to do is to check whether all the columns have been promoted. So the column headers have been promoted, as you can see their name. And when you still come back, go to the side like apply step, you will notice this step has been applied on it, and that is promoted header. All right, so let's move on. Now, the next thing you want to do is to check the data type if they are okay. If you're okay with the data type, then you move on to transforming the order or preparing the data. So the data type for this one, I am okay with this. This is date time. Yes, because I have time here, it's giving me date and time. You can see the time icon and the date, the calendar icon there. Now, this is product ID. It's not necessarily an arithmetic number. It is just an ID. So I would prefer to have it as a test instead of ID. That's the way I work. That applies to all the other IDs. And I'll quickly do them. All right, so I am done with that. So let's move on. The next has decimal. It has to do with money. So we leave it as decimal, or we call it fixed decimal. The next is also fixed decimal, it's also money. But what I'm going to do here is to rename this as sales. And understand this sales is equal to unit price multiplied by quantity, and that's what you get here. And with this, I think I'm happy with the data type. The next thing I want to do, in line with the requirements I have gathered, I want to go ahead and split this column to date and time. Click on the column and go to split column. Now, when you look at my data, you notice I have space between the date and the time, and even between the time and the time of the day, like the ante-meridian and the post-meridian. So this time around, I'm going to, because of this space, I'm going to use space as my delimiter. So I'll click on split by delimiter, and what I have here is slash. I'm going to click on my space bar to create that space. Good, I have created that space. That error is gone. So, and that's all I needed to do. And I want to split it on every occurrence, which I am okay with. So wherever you see space, it creates it. And when you look at this, we have date time 1 up to date time 3. So let's try to rename them. I will name this dates by double clicking there and editing. Good. And notice it has a calendar icon only, no more date and time calendar. Good. Now this one has clock icon. So that's because it is time. So I'll leave it as time. Now the next is the time of the day, like whether it is afternoon or evening. So I'll just call it like time meridian. That's like the name anti-meridian or post-meridian. And honestly, that's for lack of a better word. So let's move on. And with this now, I think I am happy with the way things are, and I can actually move this data down. Notice that I did not change this to dollar or pounds or any currency symbol. We're going to do that in Power BI, not in Power Query. All right. So the next is go to the dimension table. We have all this. So notice we have calendar, country ID, payment method ID. So we have all this ID, and we also have them here: product ID, country ID, and the other IDs. Look at them here. these IDs are used to identify or to create relationship between these other tables and the main transaction table. So, in other words, when you find this country ID in a country table, it's called a primary key. And you find it in another table that is not its parent table, you call it as the foreign key. And now that is the relationship. And the same thing happens to the other tables. Let's go in and you see in real time how this relationship is being created, and that is our next step. So we'll go in, close and apply. Now this close and apply happens when you have done something, any made any changes, and you want to apply it to the Power BI and close the Power Query. You close and apply. If you want to just apply without closing Power Query, you click on apply. Or you did not make any changes necessarily, or you don't want to implement the change you made, you just click on close. Right now we want to do both, so we click on close and apply, and the data will be loading. And we have about 5,000 transactions. You see, that's it. And they are all loaded. I am happy. Now, the next is to go down to the model view. Now, in this model, in my previous video on my Power BI series, I gave a detailed explanation of the Power BI interface. I will leave that video in the description. Now, we have these tables here. I'm going to position them. In dimensional modeling, we have what we call snowflakes and star schema. Star schema is a situation where you connect all the dimensions directly to the transaction table. And snowflakes is when there are some dimensions that do not connect directly to the transaction table, but they connect through another dimension to the transaction table. That is where you get the snowflakes. For now, what we are doing, because there is this direct relationship between my dimension and the transaction table, I will go straight and create that star schema. And to do it is so simple. I'm not writing any code. I will go in. We have country ID here. We have it here. I'll go drag it and drop. It doesn't matter the direction you're going. And then when you look at this, you see the country table first, and that shows us about some of the countries here. So when you look at this, you notice we have the one to many. So that means one country identified as one country here has many occurrence in the transaction table. So that is why in the dimension table, we do not expect to have any form of duplicates. Like you have two here, you can see two here. That means we have many occurrence of Germany. So I would say, okay, and that is a standard. You should aim to have one to many relationship. So I would say, okay, and I want to make that an active. So I'm going to do the same thing for the order. So that is a payment method ID. I'll drop it here and I'll say, okay. The same way we draw product ID. Happy with that. And shipment method, shipping mode ID. And yeah. So with this now, I have been able to establish a star schema. These tables communicate amongst themselves. And that's essentially the next thing you're supposed to do after preparing your data. You don't go and start writing your DAX function when you have not fully modeled your data. And this is what we call star schema multidimensional modeling. All right, so it can get actually more complex than this, but this is a very fantastic place or way to start. All right, so let's go into our DAX to the table view so as to create these DAX functions. So I'm going to click on new table because whenever I want to create DAX function, I prefer having them within a table. So to do that, since we have the concept of table here, we create an empty table and I can name them my sales measure. You can name them whatever you want, but be very, very descriptive. Sales measure. It is an empty table, so nothing is going to be here. So that is okay. And now it's created for me. And that's the name of the DAX function. You can also rename it here if you want to. So I'm going to click on the ellipses and click on new measures. The first thing I want to do is the total transactions. Okay, so total transactions. And in total transactions, what we have is We're going to do count because all my transaction ID, it's unique. So I'm going to do count. And that is how it should be. Otherwise, use count distance to be very sure. All right, so I'm going to count it. That field is in my transaction table. So that's it. And I will say, okay, I have been able to create that DAX function. And I'll go again. The next thing I want to create is the total sales. Now, when we talk about sales, it's the same thing as revenue. So I will name it as sales. And because we're talking about the total sale, it's the sum of sales we will be using. We have that transaction. So, and that is on our sales. That's our sales table. And I am okay with that. Good. So now there is something that I need you to know before we continue with the other function. With the other function, this is a lot of errors a lot of us make or we just forget. Now, I told you earlier that we need to go in here and convert this to, a currency. So right now it's just like a decimal number. So I will come in here and it's showing me decimal number, but what I want it to be is from here I want it to be a currency. So I'll convert it and it's showing me dollar, but I want it to be, because I am in the UK, I want it to be the English pounds or the British pounds. Okay, I'm happy with that. The same thing happens with sales currency, then convert it to the pounds. I'm happy. So this is done for me. Let's move in and continue with our calculation. The next KPI I want to get is the average sales. So average sales. I'm going to use average and then I will get the sales table. Just like you do it in Excel, that's all we needed to do. We have average sales. The next thing is total quantity. We want to bring in quantity here. Because we're talking about total quantity, that will also be an arithmetic operation. So I'm going to go with sum because I want the total. This time around, quantity, that's what we want to select. Good. So let's move on and get the other things. And the last one for my measure will be simply average quantity. And again, I'm going to use average and then I'll get my quantity. Good. That's it. I got it and I have completed all my measures and you can see them by the side here, 5 of them. And this is how you know measure. You can see this calculator icon by them. That means it is a measure. And the other ones are table and tables usually have this arrow showing that when you expand it, you will get all the columns in that table. All right, so now we have completed all the DAX functions that we need, and we will now need to go to, well, the main place where everyone sees everything that happens. Truth is, no one knows the pains you pass through to bring up a beautiful dashboard. But you can see for this little and very simple dashboard we want to build, you can see all the processes we have to go to even get to this point. And that is what you must do at every point in time you need to build a dashboard. So now let's dive in and start doing this. This is the Power BI interface, and I created a video on the entire interface of Power BI, and the link will be in the description. So let's go on. Now, on this interface, I noticed some persons normally come in and they tried to create their own canvas, the interface where you have your dashboard or your report. It's okay if you have a custom one you want to create, but Power BI is a standard application, and that means the interface was created to fit in effectively on almost all the screens because most screens aspect ratio is 16 by 9, and I'm going to show you that if I open this format panel and go to canvas settings. you will see it 16 by 9, and that is the shape of almost every laptop and screen out there. And I will strongly recommend that you leave it the way it is, except you are required to use a particular dimension or a particular aspect ratio. Then you can go ahead with it. Now, the first thing I want to do is to go to the background. I can leave it this way, or I can change the color of my background depending on what I want. However, I don't want to use any color. What I want to use is a background I prepared in PowerPoint. Now, I recommend that you try to prepare your background in PowerPoint. Trust me, it makes your dashboard design easier or quicker. If you have a knowledge of any other application that can help you prepare the background before you come to Power BI, that's fine. The other way, Power BI, you can also prepare the background on Power BI. But I find that whenever you need to create any form of navigation, it tends to try to load those buttons, and that takes a lot of time compared to just loading one image that you need to import. All right, so let's move in and go to this browser image and get the image. This is the one I want to get, and I'll bring it in. So normally when you bring it in, this transparency is usually 100 and it will not show. All you need to do is to drag this transparency to 0, or drag it as much as you want. You can just make it this way, but of what use is that? So I like leaving it the way I want. Notice that on this I have those 4 cards, 5 cards up there, and those will be my 5 KPIs, the measures we created. Then I will have one line chart here, a bar chart, and then a matrix here. And that means I already know what I want to build before I even start building, which is the standard procedure. So let's move on. And to get the visuals, you come up here, you will see insert group here. These are all the visual, and you can drop down here and see all the many other visual. So I'm going to go with the new card visual. It has a better experience, it gives you more power to do a whole lot of things, and I will recommend you go for it. However, it also has its challenges because most times when you finish working on one card, you can't copy the formatting of one card to the next card. So that's one problem I find with this. However, it still doesn't take away the fact that it gives you lots of flexibility. So I'm going to use it. So, and here we go. I will go to my measures, sales measure. The first thing I want is a sales transaction, and it gave me this. That's fine. So I will quickly walk us through on how to go to format this. And I'm gonna try to keep every formatting simple. The whole idea of this dashboard is to get you to quickly build up dashboard and build momentum in terms of your learning process. If you try to make every design beautiful with your first dashboard, you may not want to achieve, you may not be able to achieve it. So the first thing is build out that very simple one that still provide business value, and then you can go in and try to bring in a lot of context. This time around, we're not going to do any contest. It's just to quickly get you started so that you can start doing more things or more advanced things in with Power BI. So let's go here, and I have this. I will now go to my formats pan and start formatting it. So the first is the title. I don't want to use the title. I'm happy with what is here, so I'm going to use that. But should I want to use the title, I just need to enable it. So that means I will need to come to my call out here, go to legend and disable that. But I want to keep my legend. I want to keep my label, not legend, my label, sorry, and disable this. So use either of them. I don't think there is any need to use the both of them. All right, so that's okay. Now let's come to this call out. We have all. So what I want to do is to go in there and select the field I want, which is transaction, because that's all we have here, all we want here. However, you can have as many as possible. That's why it says all at first. So, but that's what we want. I'm going to use Sergio UI semi bold and I'll make it 20. Okay, I'm happy with that. I don't think I need to bold it because it's semi bold. Now the color, I will go and give it. That's black with 20% light. So I think I like that. I will go to the display unit. I want to display none because I want the entire number. All right, I think we still have something on the colored value, which was the label. We need to format that. On this label, I would want Time New Romance, leave it at 12, make it bold, and go and pick up this color. Let's go this. Yeah, that's it. That's the one I want, and I am happy with that. Then I'll move on to the next one, and that will be my cards. My cards. On the cards again, I want to select transaction. Okay, so the background, I will make up a simple background. Yeah, so you can see it change as I move it. Okay, just keep it that simple. Otherwise, we can also make it a bit blue. All right, so I'm happy with that. Do we need border? So I'll quickly check this border if we truly need it. So this is all we have with border, and I don't think we need border. So I will disable it and collapse that. Okay, so the next is accent bar. Let's just give it a little accent bar, enable it, and then come up here. Now I want it at the bottom, then with some nice color. Let's try this color and let's see, perhaps it works. No, no transparency. Give it a width of 50 or 5%, and I think that works. So I will then reduce it to fit in. Okay, so that's nice. But in all honesty, my background doesn't really come out well. So I think I'm gonna do away with the background if you agree with me. So background out, yeah, that's much more simpler. Yeah, I think this is far better and much more matured. And now I am going to repeat the other five measures of average quantity, average sales, total quantity, and the sales on all the other cards. So I'm not going to bore you with this. So I'm going to pause it and then continue as soon as I'm done with the other cards. So let's move on. All right, so I have completed it. And now notice we have sales, average sales. These are supposed to be amounts. So I didn't do anything to them. I just had to paste them there. Now it's important we go and change them. And I could do that from here. Or I could just go to table and change them there. So either way, it's nice. So what I will do is on the sales, I'll go to the sales measure, go there, and I want it to be currency. Now it has changed to currency, and the currency I want is the British pound, and that's how it goes. Click on the currency, or you even go here and change it to currency, which is what we are going to do next for the average sales. So on the average sales, it's general here. On the data format, we want currency, and that's going to change to currency, but normally it defaults to dollar. So I'll click on this arrow by the side of the dollar and go to the British pound. And I'm happy with that. So I'll go here, and then I still see the dollar. So I'll go back there. All right. So I can still do it from here. On the sales, I will come in here and change it to pounds. Good. And take away the decimal places. Not interested in it. Yeah, good. And the average sales, again, I will pick the average sales, change it to British pound. And here we go. All right, you can keep yours in your currency. It's up to you. Just be very creative and be very sensitive to the country, depending on the country you're working for, or the company you're working for, and the country or the people who are going to consume your data. Just flow with the flow. All right, so we move on. Now I have done this. One extra thing I did to the formatting that I did here was to add this border, and you can see it around it. All I need to do was to go to card, go to border, enable the border. If I take it away, you notice there won't be hold on, I need to take it away. But to take it away, I need to select it, then take the border away so it disappears. It's no longer there, but it's on the other ones. But I want it, so I will keep it there. I'll put it back, And that's it. So we're done with the cards. Let's go to the other visuals. The first one is the line chart. And what I want to do is to analyze sales over months. So normally when you sort a number or a letter, it goes alphabetically or from the biggest to the smallest. But date doesn't work that way. It requires a different kind of sorting. And that is where the day number and the month number comes in handy. So let's go and create that. Now we don't have it here. So we are going to go back to our Power Query to build it. It is faster there. We could also do that with that function, but then I would prefer that we go and do it the right way. And that is through Power Query. So here I am on the Power Query, and let's go in and do some things here. We are on this table. First, I will pick up the date because that is where everything is happening from. And then I'll go to add column because I want to add a new column. I'll go to date. For the month, I will add the month. And this will give us the month here. But we also don't have the month of the year. So again, I'll come to date. We're still on the add column. I'll go to the month name. So that's the name of the month, and you can see it by the side here. We have month name. Excellent. All right. Now the other thing I want to do is to get the name of the day of the week and the number of the day of the week. So I will come in here again. For here, I will go to day. I'll go get this day. This will give us the day of the month, and that's not what we want. What we want is the day of the week. So I'm going to undo this. Here in Power Query, we don't have undo. What we have is to delete a step that you have done. So I'll click here to go back. All right, so our date, ensure that the date is selected before you perform any operation you want to do. So there, and that is the day of the week is what we are looking for. Pick it and you can see from 0 to 6, and what it means is 0 is our Sunday, uh 1 is Monday, 6 is a Saturday. So our day starts from Sunday. So sorry, that means our week starts from Sunday. All right, so let's move on and do one more step. We want the name of the day. The name of the day is important for our analysis. So let's pick it up. All right, so come here, go to day and name of the day, and we got it. Excellent. Let's move in. Okay, and having done that, I will come here to home, close and apply because we did some changes to close and apply. So we'll wait for it to apply. Excellent. So it's done applying. Now the next thing we need to do is to try to plot the graph. So that's a line chart. Come to my chart here and pick up the line chart. All right. Okay. So I want sales and I want name of the month. So this is what we have. And when you look at this, you notice the names are really long, and you can see we have exceeded the width here. This is not a wonderful thing for us because you're getting your users to bend their neck 45 degrees to read the category. So that is not okay. That is why we're going to do one more step, and we're going to do it for day and for months. Let's go in and add one more column, but this time around we're going to use DAX, and what we want to do is to get the short name of this month. So let's come in here. All this while we have been creating calculated measure. This is time to create calculated column. Good. So I'll come to this table. This is where we want to create it from. Come here and go to calculated column, and I will name it month name short. That is for lack of proper name, honestly. All right. So what I want to do is to use a function known as format. And format will take the date from this table, which is this, and we want it to return the short form of the month. And that's how to return it. Triple M means the short form of the month. So I'll pick it up and we have it there. Let's do the same thing. I'll just copy everything, do it for day. And I'm sure you understand it's just the same format. And all I just need to do is to replace the M with the day. And I will have it with D, and I will have it D. That's it. And I will say day, week, day, name. All right, I think I would like it that way. Excellent. So let's go in and continue. We don't want this, so we're going to replace it. Month name, we'll go to this month name short and replace it. And here we go. You see how beautiful it is. Good. So now it's time to sort. Let's see, December to February. Now it is sorted. When we go up to these three ellipses and go to sort as, you see it's sorted as sales, but we want to sort by the month name. But the month name on its own, when you sort it, it's going to start sort alphabetically. We want to sort based on the month number, and this month is numbered from 1 to 12, and that's why we picked up the month number, and that's the name here. Month, this month means the month number. So to sort this, we click on this field, which is what we have here, and then go to sort by. We are not going to be clicking on this same field again. We already have it, but we want to sort it by another field, which is the month, and that is the month number. And that way, it's going to sort according to the month chronologically from January to December, the way we want. To get it to start showing, we need to go and do one more step here. And instead of sales, we choose month name. And here we go, December to January. But you know that's not what we want. We go again. So we don't want it in descending order, we want it in ascending order. And that will give us from January to this. And that's it. I know it took a long time, but then that is the right way. So let's do a few formatting here and we will be okay. I don't want this name here on the Y and the X axis. I already have them on my title, so I will come in and remove them. Good. So for that, I will remove, first of all, remove the name short. So I will have sales by month, or I could name it monthly sales, which is a more descriptive name. And I would prefer going by, to be consistent, going by this, leave it there and this. Okay. So I'll pick up this name. Excellent. I'm happy with that. And I said I don't want that. So I will come to X axis here. I don't want the title, and I will go to Y axis. First, I will increase this to 10. Then I'll go to Y axis. Again, I don't want the title. Good. I think we're happy. And then I will increase the value. I will increase it to 10. All right. So I think we are okay here. The next thing we want to do, it's this grid line. I don't think I need it. So I'll click on this grid line and I'll take away the horizontal grid line. Good. What else do we need to take away? Let me click out. All right. I think it's okay. It does have a background, but because we're still using white, so we're going to forgive that. The next other thing is the line, because you want to format your line. So let's keep this. I'm going to keep it simple. So on the line format, I'll keep it solid. Joint is rounded. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And the color is all I want to change. From this, I want to change it to something simple. Yeah, just to be consistent. And I think I am happy with what I have right now. All right, so we have completed this and it is nice. So the next is to pick up the next visual, and I want to pick up bar chart. Okay, perfectly fitting there. That is how smart Power BI is. Good. So on the bar chart, I want to pick up this time around. I want to get the transaction. These are all the transactions. The next I want to pick up is the products. Let's go to the product name. We have it there. I'm going to properly name them. Close this. Then let's start with the title. That is transaction by product. So I will name it just transaction by product to keep it simple. No need to say product name. By products. Good. So I will maintain consistency. I will use this and I will leave it at 14 as we had on the line chart. So then I'll pick up that short to make it bold. Yes, we got the same formatting. All right, so here I am still going to keep this simple. I will change the bars. This time around, the columns, because they are column, the bars are more like the horizontal one. So I will change it. I am using all of them. I can choose to give them different colors, pick the categories and give them different colors, but I will stick with one color, and that is the color I'm going to stick with, just to keep things very simple and to get you up and running within a short period of time. And now with this, you can start doing some more things with your stuff. I have transaction by products. So I don't want the product name and the transaction, total transaction on both the axes. So I will go and disable the axis there and then disable this axis. Good. I've got more space to view my stuff. Now, another thing I would also prefer is to have the data label on the bar instead of having them by the side. So let's go and enable the data label. We will return back to the y-axis. So this is the data label, we enable them. And yeah, it is there, but I usually like it to be so like at the top before the end. So is it inside end? Let's try it inside end exactly. That's where I like it. And I'm going to try to give it, that's the value, make it 10, make it bold. Here we go. So with this now, I don't need the y-axis because I've got all the numbers here. So I will go to y-axis and disable the value. Is that? Yeah, disable the value. Good. So I will keep it this simple. That's all I want from there. And we're good to go. Yeah, that's simple. All right, the last one is here and let's do it. So I'm going to start with table, expand it a little, go and get the data. No, the data, yeah. So now the first one I want to get is the sales. We are working with the sales. So I'll go to the measure and pick up the sales. Then I'll go to transaction table and get the time. So you remember the time we created. So that is the time. So what I want to do is to bring this out, have the time to be up here. Good. It's much more better that way. You can drag and drop, drag this, move, change the position by dragging and dropping in the right position. Then let's pick up the days. If you remember the days that we created, and those are the short days, days of the week, days of week. Good, I think that's it. So pick it up. I prefer the short days. No, that's not it. Yeah, weekday name. Yeah, that's the one we want. Good. So we're happy with this. All right, this is not exactly the way we want it. Let's change it to matrix. Good. I think this is what we want. Good. All right. Excellent. All right, so let's go to formatting. I don't want the total, row and column total, don't want them. Good. So let's try to expand this just to create some more space. Good. So I'm going to push this back a little more. Okay, I think I have what I'm looking for. Excellent. But now when you look at this starts from Friday down to Wednesday. That's not the way we want it. Let's try to format it. Do you remember we created the day number, if you remember, and that if we go to the table view, that's the easiest way to find out. That's it from 0 to 6, day of week. So we will use the day of the week just like we use the month number to format to sort the week, the month of the week of the year, we will use the day of the week number to sort the week name. So let's do that. I will click on the field we selected, which is what we have here, and I will go up here. And what we want is day of week, as we know. That's what we want to sort by. Nothing really happened here, does it? Did anything happen here? Yeah, I think it's already sorted actually. That's nice. Sunday to Saturday. Sunday is our first day. We can actually change it to Monday if we want. So, but we'll keep it as it is. So if we check sort by, so it automatically sorted by days. All right, so we are happy with this. Can we have a better formatting for days? Let's look for some of the layout and we keep it simple. So we are the default formatting. Let's see some bold header, something like this. I'll pick up a contrast alternate. No. So I will keep it as default. Excellent. So our work looks so nice, but at this point, it's kind of difficult for us to really understand, the time of the day that we have the most sales. All right. So here we want to manipulate this to convert into a heat map. To do this, all I just need to do is to enable this background color. And we have this wonderful view easily and quickly showing us where the most transaction or most sales are. And before I will go into interpreting anything, let us go to this and change this to this color that we are using to remain consistent. I'll click there, and at the end, this is what I need. And I think I am happy with that. Okay, so let's go. We got this. Let's go for the lighter one of these. And yeah, so excellent. That is now much more consistent than before. So you see, this is what we are talking about. And now the darker the color, the more sales it is. And then you look at it on Sunday, we notice that on Saturday, we notice that the most sales was around 2 a.m. And on Friday, that was around 12 p.m. If you come to Sunday, the sales are a bit on the average side. So the most sales are we have them on Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and at different time. And it's so easy for you to view. If you don't want to view it this way, now I can enable the font color. The whole idea of enabling the font color is to get it to be consistent with the background. And when it is, you will no longer see the color. And this is what I'm going to do. So this is it. And go to the conditional formatting, pick this and go with this just to be consistent with what we are doing. And that's it. You no longer see it. So with this now, you don't have any form of disturbance, any form of distraction. You can quickly go and notice that the best selling here is 2 a.m. on Saturday. And that is it. This is how simple this thing is. And here I have created this little space. And this little space is when this data grow for different time zone, we'll be able to get all. When this data grow for different time, it will be able to continue going down. So now we have this extra space, and that is okay, that is intentional. When our data set increase or grows, we are likely going to have different time. This is from 1 a.m. to like 12 p.m. We don't have some other time. We could actually have more time. And when we do, they will occupy all this space. So that is the dashboard. Now, the next thing I want to do is before that, let me arrange it, ensure that everything is inside here. I think I'm happy with that. Excellent. Good. So that's from Sunday to Saturday. All I needed to do now is to quickly create something up here. So to do this, I want to go and let's pick up slicer, a very simple slicer. So let's pick up the old slicer and we'll just keep it simple. Now with this, I can pick up the shipping mode. Yeah, that's the ID. Don't need that. Good, that's the name. So bring it up here. and then format it. All I need to do is to quickly go. I don't want the header, and I want to give it a different kind of formatting. Slicer setting, I want drop down, easy. So with drop down, you can pick up what you want. If I don't want this background, I can come in and say, okay, this, I don't want the background, so I'll change it. But then that leaves us with the name being grayed out. So I can go to value. Okay, I can go in here and keep the value that. Okay, so that's not clear. So we go for a lighter version of it. Good, and I can make it bold. Okay, yeah, I think that is fine. Then pick it up here. If you go to bank, that's fine. Go to cash, fine. You go to mobile payment, and that's fine. So I'll leave it as it is. And the last one, or the penultimate one, is to just give our dashboard a name. So to give it a name, I am picking the text box, a very simple one, and I will name it sales analysis. Is it supply chain sales analysis? Sales analysis dashboard, if that's not a long name. Okay, so select it, format it. I'll give it Time New Romance, and let's do 20. Make it bold. The color, I'll maintain this color. Expand this. We don't need any background. I'm gonna drag this up here. I don't need any background color, so I'm gonna work on it. Now that I don't need background color, what I need is to come to property by the side, remove background. Now at this point, I will make the color brighter. So I would want a white color. Is it consistent, or should I go with? All right, so let's click out. Okay. I think this is okay, but let's try another color to be consistent with what we have. So to do that, I will come in here and pick the lighter color of this, and let's see how it comes out. Okay, I'm not sure I like it, so I'm gonna keep to white. Yeah, so this is what you do. This is what you keep doing until you get what you want. All right, so I will then drag this here. Yeah, I'm happy where it is. Or do I need to move it up? Good. All right, so we don't know what this is, so we're just going to give it a name. All right, get a new one. And that's gonna be payment method. Good. So I'm happy with this. I will again use Time New Roman. Give it 12. Make it a bit bold and remove background. Okay, so drag it up here, close to this, cover this up. When it comes to design, it's up to you how you want to make your design stand out. So, but remember, the users are the most important people in every design. So I'll keep it as white for consistency. Let's see how it looks. I'll bring this down a little just to centralize it. This is design and it's not easy. Okay, so payment method, I'm not sure that being bold is a nice idea. So I'm going to take away the boldness. That's it. Send it closer and bring this one down a little. And here we go. My dashboard is ready and is ready for you to start using. So within this short period, we have been able to build a dashboard. And now you see all the energy and the time that went into designing this very simple dashboard. You can go as far as making it much more better. Like we can go in and give this a name. What I will do is to click here and get it a name. So I'll name it I'll name it hourly transactions or hourly sales. So I will maintain my time New Roman 12. No, this time around it's 14. That's what we use for all our, and then I will make it this color. That's the color we use. 14, Time New Roman, and bold. Alright, so drag it down to this place and take away the background, and we're good. Excellent. So this is our work. And we have come to the end of this dashboard. You notice I don't have anything by the side there. I can actually go in and insert an image. So I can come in here, go to where I have some images. I think I have an image on my download. So yes, I've got. All right, so we'll use this. Do we have any other one? Oh no, this is better. So we can make it smaller. That is the YouTube channel logo, and we can have it here. It's so small because we've got so just a tiny space, but then that makes sense there. And guys, this is the dashboard. Make it whatever you want, put in your own creativity and make the most out of it. But my advice is start with this and then bring in your creativity. Build out this from beginning to the end and later start up a new project and start adding some more creativity. This will boost your confidence and it will go a long way making you understand that this is not rocket science. If you've got the basic knowledge, you can do a lot more than this. This is the most basic dashboard you will see out there, but yet it answers the business question. All right. If you got value from this video, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. Share it with your friends so that they will also enjoy what you are enjoying, get this value you are enjoying. And if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it and ring the bell icon so that you will be the first to know whenever I release new video. I just started a new Power BI series which I am uploading weekly that will teach you the all you need to know and get started with Power BI. And I will urge you to stay connected with us so that you will be able to get all these things. This is also a new series on its own, which will also continue. But this time around, it's a series on business intelligence. We'll keep building dashboard, helping you build your first dashboard on your business intelligence of choice. All right, until I see you next time, please keep analyzing. Thank you.